Hello, and welcome back, friends and enemies. Today we are going to be taking a deep dive into another episode of Moral Orel. This time it'll be on Season 2, Episode 7, Pleasure. This episode was requested by Jack Holland, so make sure to give him a big thanks in the comments down below. This episode also shares some similar themes with another episode I went over on this channel, which was Turn the Other Cheek. You should definitely check out that video as well. I'll link it down below. Anyways, let's get started. So this episode begins with Orel being really excited, waking up already in his church clothes and everything, telling his parents to get up because it's Sunday and God will wonder where they are. I'd also like to note that even though Orel's parents already have the Lustguard 6000 up in their room, Orel still finds his dad passed out on the couch. At the church this time, the Reverend's sermon is about pleasure. He mentions how they should be skeptical of life's pleasures because there is where the devil is. And then goes on to mention drinking in excess, gambling, self-pleasure, the enjoyment of the company of a promiscuous woman. And then it time cuts as he goes on and mentioning every little thing that a person might find enjoyable, followed by the word devil. And then states something interesting. You can't even think about sin without it being a sin. And I think this just further shows how in this show there's a commentary that Christianity is just being used as a way to control people. This sermon shows how the people are taught that anything they might enjoy is evil and that they will suffer in the afterlife for partaking in it, leading them to become reliant on the church to tell them what they can do each week. Moving on, later is talking to Doe about how he needs to cut out all the things that he finds pleasurable just to be safe, and on his notepad he has a list of everything that he likes to do. And it goes like this: doing good, nice being, behaving, giving, caregiving, and sympathy having. These seemingly innocent things are what Orel finds pleasurable. The two come across an old lady asking for help to cross the street, and Orel almost does help her, but then says, "Wait a minute, nice try, devil," and just moves on. We then see him not help a lady with the kid get her groceries into the car, and then we see him not warn a blind man of an open sewer gate. This just goes to show how far Orel is going to take giving up on these things that he finds pleasurable. He goes on to ask his father for advice, but his dad just says once he has a family it will be easy for him to live a life with no pleasure. Then Orel says, "Golly, he is so miserable, he must be the most holy man in all of Moralton," which is very ironic. This also goes to show that Orel can clearly tell how much of a miserable person Clay is and how much of a miserable existence he lives. Later that night, before Orel goes to bed, he says how nice it is to please the Lord. And then he has a dream, a wet dream, about God speaking to him and saying how much he loves him, and then pats him on the head. He then wakes up to notice an external emission, and then quickly adds God worship to the things that he's no longer going to do since they bring him pleasure. He goes on to ask the Reverend for some advice, and the Reverend tells him that he should counter the feeling of pleasure with a bit of pain, and mentions how the devil hates the stuff when it's used right. A quick side note here, trying to trick your body into ignoring pleasure by using pain just seems like a way how to condition your brain into associating the pain with the pleasure. We then see a montage of Orel going through his normal God worshipping activities, but then after each one is followed by him inflicting some level of physical pain to himself. Even the smallest things that he seems grateful for or even enjoys a bit, he gives himself an unequal amount of pain in response. He even knocks himself out with a rock just for enjoying a sunset. At the end of this, he comes across a homeless man asking for spare change, to which Orel does give him, and then he ends up thanking Orel for him and says, "God bless you." For this action, Orel gets some broken glass and pours it into his shoe to suffer the pain for something found pleasurable in. He comes across someone else in an alley who is also somewhat beaten and has a similar outfit to what Orel is wearing, where they seem to have some type of barbed wire wrapped around their shirts. He tells Orel that he understands and has turned a corner with pain. He hands Orel a piece of paper saying that it's for people like us. The place is called the Glory Hallelujah Hole. Orel heads there later that night and is given a tour by the same guy. And basically it's a BDMS club, where Orel sees a lot of things, including self-whipping, tickle torture, a stoning, and something I'm not really sure what it is. He also learns of safe words. And then the man tells Orel that it is now his turn, and he gets sent to the righteous study room, where he is spanked and then soon enough begins to derive pleasure from it. That night, Orel has a dream where God is calling him bad and spanks him. But this ends up with the same result as when he got praise from God in a dream. He quickly goes to tell his father about it. And then Clay says, "I think you know what this means, young man," while holding up his belt, which Orel looks excited to see. So he doesn't spank him, instead tells him to meet him in his study. He tells Orel that he crossed a very dangerous line when he stopped hating his pain. Orel responds with that he knows and that he can't help but enjoy life, even the painful parts. Clay then says if Orel loves pain, then how will he be able to teach him anything? And even admits that the use of physical discipline is the only tool that he has in his parenting handbook. The episode ends with Orel asking how he can stop enjoying other stuff as much. Clay just says it's natural since he's a kid, and that once he grows up he will gradually start to hate life just like his father. I think some of the important aspects of this episode are that 1. It's okay and even healthy to find some enjoyment in life. There's no need to be a miserable person like Clay. And that you shouldn't be afraid of enjoyment, despite what the church says. And yeah, once again, if you try to get rid of your joy in life with pain, you'll just condition your body to confuse pain and pleasure until they become one. And that you will gain pleasure even in pain. But hey, some people are into that. And at the end of the day, that's okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. And once again, a big thanks to Jack Holland for suggesting this video. Be sure to thank him down below. Subscribe if you're new here. And until next time, I'll see ya.